What movie death scene is burned into your memory?
The toilet guy in Jurassic Park 1.
That poor guy who gets his heart ripped out by Thujays and sent into lava in Temple of Doom always got me as a kid. Still pretty memorable.
When the bad guy kills the shoe by dipping it into the goo in Who Framed Roger Rabbit. Link. That one is so effing terrible, man. If you think about it, those toons don't even have the asterisk notion asterisk of what death is. When a toon is shot in the face, they just get real dirty, or, worst case scenario, turn into a cartoon angel only to come back to normal by next week. Not that shoe, though. The shoe is asterisk gone forever asterisk. It's the first and only one of their kind to ever meet total oblivion and just asterisk die asterisk for good. That's gotta be a doozy.
Fun fact for anyone who doesn't know. The dip, in Who Framed Roger Rabbit, is described as being a combination of turpentine, acetone, and benzene. Combined in the real world, these paint-thinning ingredients make up the solution that hand animators use to remove ink from animation cells.
The effing baby in Trainspotting. Jesus effing Christ.
Something I read on Reddit in a similar thread, that I refuse to fact-check because it makes me feel better, is that every single actor on set played with that baby every time the camera cut because it was such a heavy scene. Apparently the baby was just super stoked to get all the attention and it helped the actors and crew deal with it. Edit. I took a risk and googled it and it's true. According to the twins who played the baby. We weren't on the set a lot, but when we were, apparently everyone was a bit more relaxed and all doing baby stuff with us. So it helped to take away a lot of the tension from filming such hard scenes.
The scene from The Brave Little Toaster where the air conditioner goes off the deep end and explodes himself. Asterisk 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 I'm not an invalid. I like being stuck in this wall. It's my function, asterisk asterisk asterisk. Update, I had no idea this movie was so influential to other people too. I'm glad I'm not alone because I don't know many people who've even heard of it.
The suicide scene in Dead Poets Society.
Kurtwood Smith's voice when he finds Neil's body. Just thinking about it now is giving me chills. So much sorrow and desperate regret. His character spent the entire movie being a classic mid-century abusive and autocratic father, and then he just breaks into pieces when he realizes his son is now permanently beyond his reach. He'll never chastise him again, never guide him, never see him smile or hear him slam the door to the fridge or see him graduate or get married or have kids. And in that one moment, in his voice, you can hear him realizing that it wasn't worth it, that the price was too high and he'd take it all back if he could. Being the man he was in the time he was, he papers over the cracks in his soul pretty quickly, and I'd be surprised if he and his wife speak more than 100 words to each other over the coming decade. He'll shrivel up inside, and be dead from that day forward, because he lacks the ability to internalize what his mistakes helped bring about. He won't become a kinder, gentler man, because he can't, But he will suffer, every day for the rest of his life, because he knows deep down that none of what he thought mattered was anywhere near as important as his son's life. Kurtwood Smith is an amazing and underrated actor, is what I'm saying.
The six-fingered man in The Princess Bride. I want my father back, you son of a bitch.
Offer me power, offer me riches.
Grave of the Fireflies. That scene is burned into my memory.
Of Mice and Men when George killed Lenny.
It was so much worse in the book though. In the movie he pulls the gun and bam, it's done. In the book he has the gun out and aimed with his finger on the trigger, just agonizing over it for so long before he can bring himself to do it.
Yes. I can't actually remember the movie very well. The book though. Some scenes will be engraved in my brain forever.
The young man in front of his father in Pan's Labyrinth. Brutal. Edit. Thanks for the silver and the wholesome awards. I don't know if I don't understand the meaning of them or people of Reddit are a very sick, strange bunch. Probably both.
Every time I read Pan's Labyrinth on Reddit, I have to tell the story that this movie was rated for 12-year-old kids the first week it came out here in Germany.
Artax, please. You're letting the sadness of the swamps get to you. You have to try. You have to care. Loudly crying.
Private Pile. Full Metal Jacket. It just looks so damn real and I totally didn't expect it first time round.
The Mist. That ending still gets me to this day.
For real. Imagine you thought you gave your child and your other survivors a mercy killing, but learned you were minutes away from rescue. F'ed up poo. Edit. First of all, this movie came out in 2007, you had 14 years to see it. Secondly, as someone pointed out, this thread is about deaths in movies. You only have yourself to blame. Ruffio in Hook. That movie is such an emotional roller coaster. Edit. Thanks for gold and all the awards. Feels good to know there are so many people out there who loved Hook.
Bangarang.
Culkin in My Girl.
I'm amazed at how far I had to scroll for this. It's probably because it was the first time I really saw a main character die. Maybe it was because it was a kid around my age at the time. And it wasn't an action movie death. The glasses falling gets me every time, but what kills me is when she runs into the funeral and insists that he needs his glasses. This is a girl who sees death literally daily and yet she can't really process it when it's someone she loves. Even thinking about it brings me back to the way it felt to see it the first time.
When they crush Piggy in Lord of the Flies. I was probably too young to watch. Also, the scientist who gets killed in the elevator in Damien, The Omen 2.
I think the beach scene in Lord of the Flies is way worse, that is.
Eva Green's character drowning in Casino Royale. Having James Bond watching her as she about to drown horribly has always stuck with me.
What a great answer. Seeing Bond fall so hard for a woman perfect for him and then seeing him fight like hell to save her was heartbreaking.
Tommy Williams's murder in The Shawshank Redemption. Something about the way his feet were pointed when the camera zooms out gives me the shivers.
Beat me to it. Brooks taking his own life always gets me, too.
In Silence of the Lambs, when Hannibal gets a hold of the guard in his cage cell and starts biting his face. 9-year-old me was not ready for that, and I was less ready to hear my mom start laughing hysterically at the scene. I guess she just found it absurd.
You watched Silence of the Lambs at 9 years old?
Most of the deaths in the 80s, the Blob movie. They did a good job of making every death look painful. Like people still alive as the skin is sucked off their face. That little boy getting killed. So graphic.
My brother, my captain, my king.
They will watch for us coming in the White Tower, but you will not return.
Probably the kid in Dr. Sleep. First time I've seen a child so brutally murdered in a movie like that was shocking.
I thought IT 2017 shocked me enough even though I fully knew well what was coming, but Baseball Boy's death and that pole scene in Hereditary seriously stepped up in traumatizing me. I wish Dr. Sleep wasn't so underrated. A definite 10 out of 10 for me.
John. Green Mile. I'm awful tired boss, loudly crying.
Bridge to Terabithia. Watched it again recently at 22 years old and cried my eyes out the same as I did when I first saw it as a kid.
Spock. I have been, and always shall be, your friend.
Of all the souls I have encountered in my travels, his was the most. Human.
The curb stomp in American History X.
Oh God, yeah. I haven't watched that movie in many years, but I can still hear the sound.
It has to be the face melting in Raiders of the Lost Ark *. I mean, it was perfect.
Would have been the perfect time for a Nivea product placement.
Boromir Lotr dude.
Yes. And it finishes of his arc so well, initially headstrong and dismissive of the ring's lure, succumbing to it for that instant, then wanting to redeem himself protecting the hobbits. The fact the first thing he says when Aragorn gets to him isn't his big, my captain, my king, or some Gondor stuff. It's, they've taken the little ones, thinking of the innocent before anyone or himself. Absolutely perfect.
What's in the box?
Artax, in The Neverending Story. Completely wrecked 7-year-old me.
Artax. Stupid horse. You've gotta move or you'll die. Move, please. I won't give up. Absolutely heartbreaking sad face.
The dog getting shot in Old Yeller. It's a really old movie, book, but it still always gets me. Same with my dog Skip. He doesn't get shot though. He just dies of old age. Still sad.
Mufasa. Lost my dad at a very young age.
Not a movie, but there was an episode of MASH I saw as a kid that traumatizes me to this day. The whole episode, which I haven't seen since I was about 9, so forgive any incorrect details, is about a group of army and civilians hiding from the enemy. One lady has a chicken, and they keep telling her to keep it quiet because if it gives away their position they'll all be dead. We find out she smothered the chicken to death to save everyone. But the horror twist is that the soldier telling the story had replaced the actual source of the noise. Her human baby, with a chicken because it was so horrible. I have children now and the thought of making that choice makes me sick to my stomach.
That's the last episode and it was Hawkeye, of course it had to be Hawkeye, who was so traumatized he remembered it as a chicken.
The death of Maximus in Gladiator.
I will see you again, but not yet. Not yet. Cue tears every time.
When Percy executes Dell by using dry sponge in the Green Mile.
Percy is just one of the worst characters ever put on paper. What a despicable scumbag from every direction. Every scene with him is him just being a complete psycho. Even among Stephen King books he's easily one of the worst. When in The Mummy Returns Imhotep realizes what Rick and Evie have as love and he looks at Inoxinamun imagining the same but she just nopes out and he yeets himself to the underworld. Also, the man who dies from flesh-eating beetle.
Oh, that scarab death was horrifying.
Wilson I'm SORRRRRYY.
Sad to see a relationship end like that, they just drifted apart.
The death scene in Saving Private Ryan where the knife slowly goes into the guy's chest. It's still hard to watch even now.
Yes, I think this one for me also. It's so visceral and horrific even if it isn't as gory as others. Also, the medic is close second. Sinister, the lawnmower tape where the child runs over her family with the mower while they're laying in the yard at night. The noise gets me every single time no matter how many times I watch it and even though I know it's coming.
Ghost ship, when cable snaps and cuts bunch of people who were happily dancing on deck in half.
I watched this as a teen and as soon as I read your comment, I instantly remembered it as vividly as the first time.
IDK, what is about that scene? I have watched a lot of horror movies, war movies, sad dramas, but there is something about that scene that sticks out. Maybe the nice, serene music, romantic night at sea, people happily dancing. I just can't forget that wire and then bodies falling down. And if I recall correctly, Cube has similar scene with some cables slicing people and few other similar scenes in other movies, but nothing came close to this one.
When Bubba was dying in Forrest Gump, him saying, "I want to go home," hit me deep. Even though I know he was acting, I wanted to reach through the screen and hug his fear and pain away. All those young boys dying in the jungle must have been so terrified.
Forrest, why did this happen?
Arnie's self-sacrifice at the end of Terminator 2 deserves a thumbs up.
Vader at the end of ROTJ. I was maybe 5. The Star Wars trilogy are the first movies I have memory of. Watching his redemption arc and subsequent sacrifice really left an impact on young kid me.
When Master Oogway rejoins the universe.
For some reason, I felt so affected by Oogway, everything he said, and his death scene. I had to look into if his beliefs and sayings were taken from some established philosophy, and that's how I found Taoism.
Brooks's death in Shawshank Redemption. Can't get it out of my head. Edit. My first gold, thank you so much.
Brooks was here.
Just the fact that he was so lost in the world without family or friends at the end of life pierced deep.
Hereditary, where Charlie got decapitated by the telephone pole.
Everyone talks about this scene when they mention Hereditary and I 100% agree that it's harrowing. But that scene where Toni Collette's headless corpse floats into the treehouse was so visually disturbing to me, IDKY. I couldn't stop thinking about it for weeks.
Littlefoot's mom in The Land Before Time. When I first saw it as a kid, it was the first time that I realized that my parents could die. That thought had never even really occurred to me at that point. Even now as an adult, that scene, link.
Captain Kirk's dad in Star Trek, 2009, when he crashes the ship into Nero's thingy. You just see him get flung toward the camera as the ship explodes, and I always thought it was kinda spooky for a Star Trek movie.
Chris Hemsworth is only in that movie for like 5 minutes, but man is it ever a good 5 minutes.
Bing Bong's death in Inside Out. Damn it, Pixar.
The death of the personal assistant in that Jurassic World movie. A complete side character that did nothing wrong, barely in a few scenes, gets likely the most graphic and prolonged death in the entire franchise. They really made sure to show you how terrified she was and how brutally she died. It was literally like 90 seconds on screen watching her struggle in agony and terror before being swallowed. It was honestly kinda effed up. Especially because there was a comedic moment immediately before and after the scene. It's like they want you to somehow enjoy watching this completely innocent side character die horribly.
Thank you. This bothered the poo out of me. Like, is this the death Vincent D'Onofrio's character was supposed to have? Was there a cut scene of her being pooty to the kids or something?
Bob from Stranger Things killed me inside.
Bob deserved better. He was perfect for Joyce, goddammit. Also Alexei. Poor, Russian spy Alexei.
Sam the dog in I Am Legend. I assumed she was a male dog up until the point Neville calls her Samantha, and for some reason that destroyed me. Great little sucker punch in the writing.
The one in Jojo Rabbit. You asshole.
When Scar killed Mufasa.
That one with Sean Bean.
Thank you for watching. We upload new videos every day, so be sure to come back for more fun. Please consider liking and subscribing if you enjoyed the video.